This is YSM Sports Media. Want to thank you for all your love and support. Really appreciate it. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now and click the notification button for all future content.
Which is Craig Ward, aka C-Dub. Right, so what I want to look about is this fight this weekend, which is between Joyce and Daniel Dubois. It's an interesting fight between two of our British fighters, which, looking on paper, they are really good and potentially got a real big future. Now, I have to admit, this is me coming from across the pond, really coming out there and explaining this sort of stuff to you. That these two are really good fighters, but for me, putting that aside, they are looking to be trying to get into the big three, which is Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, and Anthony Joshua. Now, I think one of these two, could actually come through and be at that level. This fight this weekend is interesting. It's very interesting. It is very, very interesting because you have got a guy that I want to come on to that I think is going to be one of the biggest fighters heavyweight, one of the biggest and best heavyweight fighters out there. But he's going against a fighter that is potentially very, very destructive and very, very good technically at what he does. That aside, this is where I'm going with this fight. So, I think, and I'm going to lay it on the cards on the table right now, I think Daniel Dubois is potentially a future heavyweight champ and one of the fighters that we will want to see. The problem is, this weekend is going against a fighter, an Olympic silver medalist, bigger guy, older, probably a little bit more experienced, and this is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets interesting. Can the younger guy, 23, Daniel Dubois, go against the older guy? And he is older. He is older. Joyce is what, 35 now, 35 years old. And I look at it now and think, can Daniel Dubois beat him? It's going to be very tough. It is going to be very tough. Before people think that it's going to be easy, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be tough. Because Joyce has a lot of skills. He has got, for a big man, he's got good footwork. He's got a decent jab and everything else. So it's not going to be easy for Daniel Dubois. It's not going to be easy. But I think Daniel Dubois, younger, probably more skilled, quicker. I think he's got a bit more power and everything else. At this moment in time, it's not easy to completely predict because we haven't seen enough of either of these fighters, to be honest, on the big stage. But for me, the way I see this fight is going to go down. I'll tell you now, YSM Sports, I think that Daniel Dubois will sort of look early on. Joyce will probably lead the fight early on with the jab and the size and everything else for the first 2 or 3 rounds. Then Dubois will come in and probably take him out. I'm thinking that Dubois might knock him out rounds sort of 6 to 7, something like that. You know, if he doesn't knock the guy out, I think he'll dominate him and take him to points. But that's not a bad thing, by the way, YSM. It's not a bad thing. But what I will say is it's going to be a great fight. It's going to be fantastic to see 2 British guys coming up that are looking to get into the big 3, which is between Wilder, Fury and Joshua. And the winner of this fight is going to be thrown straight into that. I'm going to be considered up there with the big 3 and potentially going to get one of the biggest fights of their career. So just enjoy this, YSM Sports. This is a weekend fight. We all want to enjoy it. Let's see it happen. My C-Dub, Craig Ward, aka C-Dub, this is my sort of prediction. I think that Daniel Dubois will win. I think he'll knock him out rounds 6 to 7. If he doesn't knock him out, he'll win wild on points, but that's going to be my decision. That's going to be my sort of thought process. I think Daniel Dubois will beat him and beat him considerably. Whether it's knockout or points. Either way, Give me Daniel Dubois, and then give me Daniel Dubois to kick on his career and kick on to look after and go attack the big three and be one of the big heavyweights in this world. Enjoy YSM Sports. This is what we do. This is everything. We look after you guys. We look after you because we love sports. YSM Sports, everything else. Peace out, boys.